None of these words mean what you likely think they mean, because although they look like they're written in English, it's actually a language called legalese, and it is what the lawyers generally use to deceive a population into consenting to their governance and control. Of course, it's all about money and how they put it into circulation. And of course, they offer it to you and you accept a loan so that you can do something like get an education. When in fact, however, the end result is a burden of debt, which will require you to go to them for remedy. They are like magicians, but they use words and they pull the law from their hat. In this lesson, we're going to learn what some of the more deceptive words truly mean, and we will look at how to figure out the meanings of other words. Now bear in mind, the meaning of a word is not given merely by its definition. That's only one part. You must look first at the assumption that the definition is resting upon. Then you must look at the implication that the definition creates. It is only by doing this that we can see the true meaning of a word. And the law is a very technical, highly accurate language. It appears to be very deceptive, it appears to be very ambiguous, when in fact it is very deceptive, but it is not ambiguous. It's only our ignorance that allows these words to be used in the manner that they do. And there's a maxim in law that states, "Let he who would be deceived be deceived." No one ever forced you to submit an application for a registration. No one ever stopped you from looking up what those words mean. And no one ever stopped you from deciding for yourself whether or not you wish to do so. To understand the power of words, you're going to need some tools. You're going to need some dictionaries. I suggest getting an English dictionary, a good one. Turn of the century ones are fantastic if you can find one. Get a Black's Law dictionary, a 3rd or 4th edition. Get a new one as well, just so you can compare it and see how they're changing the language. You'll want a Bouvier's dictionary and a Canadian Law dictionary. Collect them if you can. But bear in mind, the definitions you find do not give you the meaning of a word. The meaning of a word is only found when one looks at the assumptions that the definitions must rest upon and then examines the implications created by those definitions. It's by doing this that you will see the meaning of the word. And if you only look at the definition without ever looking at the implications and the assumptions, you will never understand the true meaning of it. Remember, the law is a lot like baking. And there's a rule when it comes to baking. If it doesn't have peas, it's not a chicken pot pie. Don't call it chicken pot pie if it doesn't have peas. And you must look at also this when it comes to the law. If there is no remedy, the liability is unlawful. Never forget that. Whether you're making chicken pot pie or you're deconstructing statutes, there must always be remedy, just like there must always be peas in your chicken pot pie.
Believe it or not, you're not going to be dealing with alien invaders from another planet using super magical weapons. You're dealing simply with human beings using words. That's all. Their greatest tool is to get you to assume that they know what the words mean and you do not. That's their greatest tool, is to get you to operate upon assumption that these words mean something that they don't. This is easy to deal with. It means you have the right and the power to ask questions. And if you start asking questions concerning the meaning of the words, they start to lose their authority. If someone comes to you and claims, this body of words right here gives me authority over you, and you must do what I tell you to do now, and you say, really? What does that word right there mean? And they say, I have no idea. What happens to their authority? Now, authority is a funny word because that's what we're all starting with. So let's look at that concept and start with this word, authority. Now, of course, within this word, we can see one word, and that is author. And then itty, author of the itty. What would this itty be? Well, actually, it was a contraction, and it was the author of the writ. Authority is actually the author of the writ. And that's where the authority comes from. And, hey, let's not forget the concept of equality here. You have the power to author your own writ. And that is essentially what we're going to end up doing eventually with the notice of understanding and intent and a claim of right. It becomes, when undisputed, just about as powerful as any writ. And it gives you the author. You become the author of the writ. So who has the authority? You do. People who point to a body of words and cannot tell you what those words mean cannot use that body of words to claim power over you unless you're a complete idiot.
Now, if we're going to be studying the meaning of words, a lot of people think they can look at a definition, read a definition, and know the meaning. But that's not entirely the case. A definition really is simply someone's opinion, and a dictionary is a collection of someone's opinions on all the words they could think of. If we want to learn what a word's meaning truly is, we need to look at more than the definition. So meet me at camera 2. Camera 2.
Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be determining what a word's meaning is in order to find the power in that word. As I said, many people, they make the mistake of looking only at the definition. We're not going to do that. We're going to look at the word application. Now, once you have a word's definition, the next thing you must look at are the assumptions that that definition is resting upon. And they always are there. Once you have examined the assumptions that that definition is resting upon, then you must look at the implications that the definition and the assumption creates. It is all of these three together that will tell you what the power of that word is.